My name is Carter Ellison, and I buried my daughter, Marlo, who was 9 years old, 3 weeks ago. Wide-eyed wishes uttered to the stars, lavender-scented baths, inane knock-knock jokes. She believed every single one. She thought pancakes could make any terrible day better. She believed shooting stars were wishes, just waiting for someone to accept them, that holding someone's hand long enough could ease their sorrow, and that laughter should always be loud. I parked my car in the lot across from the chapel on the morning of her burial and gazed at the tall white doors, as though they might offer me an alternative, a different conclusion. But it was early. The sky was dreary, unimpressive, uncinematic, just like everything else had been since the hospital call, colorless. I saw folks gradually enter, some with their heads bowed, others clutching tissues. Marlo's teacher came, a few neighbors, some friends from work. Before a single tear fell, I waited for a face that never materialized. No one from my wife's family, not even her parents here showed up, not her sister, Elise. They weren't late. They were unforgivably absent, on purpose. Elise, who used to watch Marlo when we went to marriage counseling. Elise, who once rescheduled Marlo's housewarming celebration, not canceled, just moved, so it wouldn't interfere with the food at her own event. She painted a star mural on Marlo's ceiling, then threw a party the same night. I found the invitation on social media, pink and gold, new beginnings. I turned to my wife and asked, "Why didn't your parents, your sister, your family come to say goodbye?" She was sitting on the edge of the bed, scrolling through her phone like it was any other morning. She didn't even look up. "It was already on the calendar," she said. No shakiness, no sadness, just a schedule. And something inside me broke. Not loudly, not with a crash, just a thread snapping in the wind. That's when I stopped being there, a son-in-law, a brother-in-law, even a husband. I had assumed sadness would strike, like a storm, loud and impossible to ignore. But it showed up in the quiet things, in the long silences between us, in how she stopped reaching for my hand, in the casserole plates left untouched on our porch by kind neighbors, entered the chapel alone, missing not just the burial, but every moment that mattered. I sat in the first pew, empty, dressed in white sashes for family, hoping someone might change their mind, hoping her father might walk in with that stiff nod he always gave, hoping she would come. But only my friends came. My mother arrived late, with phony tears and a muttered apology. Some co-workers, Marlo's pediatrician, who didn't have to come, but did. The service was beautiful. On the front of the program were Marlo's drawings, rockets, stars, suns with smiling faces, a cartoon of me in a cape. "My daddy saves days," it said, her favorite song, a silly ukulele tune she used to hum while brushing her teeth, played on a soft loop. And I sat there, collapsing inside, while somewhere across town, Elisa's Instagram story played. Balloons, wine, laughter. Grief doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just sits next to you, daring you to speak first. After the service, people came up, hugged me, said nice things, shared memories, but I couldn't stop thinking about those words. It was already on the calendar. That night, the house was too quiet. There were casseroles. Too many. Sympathy cards arranged like reminders that the world was still spinning. I didn't eat, didn't smell the flowers. I picked up one unopened card, then another, then another. Eventually, I checked my phone, one notification, my wife's Instagram story. She was at Elisa's party, in red. Elise stood next to her, smiling, glass of wine in hand. Their parents sat behind them at a shining dinner table. They looked content, unbothered. Something about that photo cracked whatever was left of me. I zoomed in, studied their faces, searching for anything, any crack, any sign of loss. But there was none. I couldn't sleep that night. I sat on the couch and watched old home videos of Marlo, still in my funeral clothes, the one where she's decorating her cardboard, Playhouse, the one where she dances in the backyard wearing a tutu, calling herself Commander Sparkle, the one where I'm singing to her as she falls asleep in my lap, her tiny hand tapping my chest like a drum. The house made sounds I'd never heard before, the hum of the fridge, the quiet thud of my own heart. Some absences. Don't need explanations. Stopped asking why they didn't come. I stopped expecting them to. Stopped making excuses for people who traded party favors for a child's farewell. That void became clarity. I knew who I stood beside, who I had to be, for Marlo, for myself. Perhaps I buried Marlo alone, because the wind whispered to a man who would never again let silence speak for him. The chapel felt strangely warm that morning, as though the world dared to act normal on a day meant to break me. I stood beside her urn. It smelled faintly of lilies. It was small, too small. A container not meant for the weight of a daughter. Sleek metal engraved with her name and tiny stars. The family pews were still empty. And yes, there was a part of me, naive maybe, that still hoped my wife would walk in, apologize, cry. But she didn't, and neither did Elise or their parents. A few friends gave eulogies, but the silence behind me said more than any speech could. Mrs. Wilkes, our old neighbor, spoke, her voice thinner than I'd ever heard. Marlo's fourth-grade teacher held up a drawing, a spaceship. She didn't just attend, she grieved. Marlo had drawn the stars over our backyard and labeled them. One was called Giggle Dragon. Another, her favorite, was a constellation shaped like me flying in a cape saying, "When Mommy says no, Daddy says yes." Everyone smiled at that. But the seat beside me was still empty. I knew exactly where she was, a house across town, the one with the lavender shrubs. The fairy house, Marlo called it. Elise posted a video, a 20-second clip, champagne, balloons, banner that read, "Here's to new beginnings." My wife stood in the background, laughing in a silk robe. They toasted to life, while I cradled our daughter's ashes. After the service, people trickled